think that's what the song does really well to capture, is just how everyone is trying to somehow do both. On the one hand, everyone sins, and as kind of a defense mechanism, if anything, we revel in it. We revel in the pleasure. We revel in the things we have to do to survive. But at the same time, that's not enough. And then at another point, we break down and we have to try to have those sins washed away. I think it's interesting to have Jesus as the album Jesus as the example of Kanye transcending it, because that is an album where he purports to be God, but Kanye, the producer, who spends hundreds, if not thousands of hours on each song, rushed that one out the door on purpose. It doesn't even have it doesn't have an album cover. It's a very deeply unhappy album. It is not produced as well as a lot of the other ones he's made on purpose. And so on the one where we have God, we have a deeply flawed and angry product. And I think that is part of the dichotomy that Kanye likes to present, is I am God, I'm transcending these things. Here is a not very good example of my work because I am still very flawed as a person.
And I think that dichotomy is created, and I think this is what needs to be discussed. In the city of God and the city of earth, they're diametrically opposed. They don't transgress upon one another in any respect. So when we have this synthesis of the two, how does that tension look for you? I was trying to work that out last night. Can you have portions of the city of God if there's the city of sin within it? And does it boil down to who has the power? Because Sci-Hi acknowledges his sin, but there's some reference to what is good and what is bad within that. So what do you think of that tension, Scott?
I don't know. I feel like, as we know, we have a lot of quotes from Romans. I don't know that you use this one specifically, but all have sinned and all have fallen short of the glory of God. So on the one hand, and Paul talks about this a little bit, is everybody sins, and Jesus is supposed to come in and take these sins away, so shouldn't we sin more to glorify him? Well, certainly not, but that is a temptation that's very hard to get away from. And I think that it's a little ambiguous, because ultimately the only thing that you can do is try as hard as you can, try to win the race, as it were. So how you choose to live in the city of sin as you live in the city of sin and then try to get out of it, it is, I think at times, maybe not, some people might disagree with me, but I think at times it's as much as how much you try and how much you admit your mistakes as it is trying to live a perfectly saintly life.
We keep getting back to that paradox of the city. I think that there's just so much going on, and you have a number of different messages telling you to do this, your circumstances telling you to do that, and there really is a kind of tug of war between people realizing, or people indulging in sin and then feeling like they have to repent for it. A lot of the article reminded me of that famous bit in Augustine's Confessions where he says something like, God grant me chastity and continence, but not yet. Eventually I want to be pure and I want to be clean, but I still kind of like it. I enjoy it a little bit. I'm in the city, this is what we do in the city, but then inevitably you wake up in the morning and you're like, what did I do that for last night? And so there's an interplay between good and evil.
Of course, Augustine is someone who really lived it up for the majority of his life, and then when he finally old enough to not do it anymore, he's like, well, nobody else should do it. You should learn from my mistakes. So it's like, well, I mean, you got to enjoy it, and then now you're telling me not to, and maybe when I get to be age, then I'll stop.
And somehow he gets to be a saint, right? That's what you like.